The Federal Reserve acknowledged today that inflation in the first quarter was above its expectations. No surprise there, but was less hawkish in its policy statement than many investors had expected, given the recent inflation reports. The stock indexes surged after the Fed released its statement at about 1 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time today, and that made no sense to me, so I lightened up some on stocks. The Dow Jones Industrial Average at one point was up over 500 points, and I turned my attention to other matters. I had to do a double take when viewing the closing numbers. Stock indexes turned down with some gusto, starting around 2:25 Central Standard Time, with the S&P 500 ending up in the red, as did the NASDAQ. Powell seemed to be optimistic in his comments after the policy release this afternoon that the current federal funds range of 5.25% to 5.5% will be sufficient to bring inflation down, and said that he viewed a rate hike as unlikely, and that may have caused an anxiety attack among some investors by just mentioning that possibility. I was not expecting a rate hike before the December meeting anyways. I have previously stated that a rate hike is more likely than a rate cut, with a continuation of inflation numbers in the current quarter similar to what was reported in the first quarter. If you took the increase in core PCE, that's personal consumption expenditure inflation, in the first quarter and annualized it, the annual rate would be 4.4%. No rate cut is going to occur with that trend continuing. See the article, quote, with sticky March PCE inflation, when will the Fed hit its 2% target, published on April 26, 2024 in Morningstar, and that is available to non-subscribers. I have already moved toward planning for current Treasury bill yields remaining near the current level for longer than I previously expected after the tame fourth quarter PCE inflation numbers. Part of that plan is to wait on buying 6-month Treasury bills and to buy more 3-month Treasury bills that mature in August, and then use the proceeds then to buy 6-month Treasury bills. Since purchases in August of a 6-month Treasury bill, which matures in 2025, will shift interest income tax recognition from those 6-month bill purchases then into 2025, and that's one reason for me to do it now. I was up today in my stock positions. I checked my Schwab and Fidelity accounts after the close, and the stock part was up by a combined $2,100. The total gain was in part due to not owning stocks that went down a lot today, like CVS and Starbucks, that were down 16.8% and 15.9% respectively. Of those two companies, the one that is somewhat concerning to me is the earnings and revenue miss reported by Starbucks, since it reflects a pullback in consumer spending on discretionary items. And that may be at least partially in response to the impact of inflation on discretionary consumer purchases and the squeeze in disposable income that is being caused by inflation in essential items.